Hello and welcome to Breathwork Bestie, the podcast that makes breathwork accessible. My name is Chrystal Rose. I'm a transformation coach and breathwork facilitator, and I am your host on this beautiful journey through breathwork. If you are new here or new to breathwork in general, I highly recommend you go back to our very first episode to get yourself feeling comfortable. If you've been with us before, welcome back. Now let's get started. Hello. Welcome back to Breathwork Bestie. My name is Chrystal Rose and I am your Breathwork Bestie today. So, oftentimes, or maybe sometimes, we might get triggered. And I know that the word triggered is, sometimes it's overused, sometimes it's not used in the correct way. I like to use the word activation sometimes, if there's an activation in my system. And sometimes it's just straight up being triggered. And I wanted to create a session to move through a trigger, not get rid of it, not shove it down, but move through it. And so I know that this can be a really difficult thing. So often with my clients, when there are things that trigger them or activate them, we have to do this practice outside of the trigger. So when they're feeling fine, when they're not triggered at all, that's when we need to practice, right? We can't just show up to the competition when we've never, ever practiced or trained for it. So then when we are in the trigger, we are in the activation, it just becomes more automatic to move through it as opposed to like crawling up inside the activation, living there, identifying with it and letting it just take you down, right? So I wanted to create this for it to be helpful to you to, when you're not feeling triggered, to use as though you were. And then maybe when you also are feeling triggered, you can come to this and move through it. So that's my intention for this session, is that it is a tool for you to use, whether you are triggered or not, activated or not. And if you are, that it'll definitely help you through. So go ahead and make yourself comfortable, whether you want to lie down or sit up. You're welcome to do either, whichever feels good. If you catch yourself falling asleep, it might be good to sit up for these shorter sessions. Just a little tip. That's it. So just getting nice and comfy, closing down the eyes and just taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And so our breath today will be a nice forceful inhale in through the nose and a forceful exhale out through the mouth, and just continuing to circulate that, knowing that you can draw out the inhale and draw out the exhale to make it deeper and slower for you if it's going too fast. So and if that pace feels too quick, then we can slow it down. So as usual, just find what works and feels good for you. You're welcome to change it at any time. Don't feel like you have to match me when I pop in to cue you. So we're just going to breathe a slow and deep, continual conscious breath, just as you get into the body. That's it. Just letting yourself get into the body and notice what's here now. So are your shoulders feeling tight? Is your jaw clenched? Is there a pit in your stomach? Just noticing and just bringing your awareness to your body. That's how we get in the body, is we bring our awareness to maybe our chest or our heart or our stomach or our feet. Just bringing your awareness somewhere in your body. That's it. And you're just going to continually breathe, just nice and easy, like so. That's it. That's it. And then noticing if you are in the trigger right now, or if you are thinking of something that does trigger you, there's a feeling in your body that is associated with that trigger. So when someone or something upsets you, what happens in your body? What is the feeling or sensation in your body? And just be here with your body and call it in if it's not already here. Knowing you're safe to hold it, you're safe to feel it. And if you're already in the trigger, just noticing those feelings and sensations as you breathe. Is there a pace in your heart? Is there a pit in your stomach? Is there tension in your shoulders? We're just noticing what's here, and there's no judgment. We're not judging it. Oh, I shouldn't feel this way. We're not judging it. And we don't need to attach a story. Well, I feel this way because. Just let it be here and just notice it. And notice wherever in your body it feels the strongest. Where is the most impactful place in your body where that sensation is really prevalent, where you can really tell, oh, my chest, or oh, my stomach, right? Like the biggest space, because it might be all over, but where is it more concentrated? And once you find it, bring your awareness to it. And then we're going to breathe the breath pattern from that place. That's it. And begin. And keep that breath going. And we are breathing from the place where we are most activated. And then just holding at the same time the feeling of it's okay to feel this way. This gets to be here. We're not getting rid of this feeling. We're not pushing it out. It is not unwelcome. We are welcoming it with loving, open arms, but we are giving it more space through the breath. We are giving it more space. So continuing that breath, that's it. With your awareness there, your awareness in the space where it is most concentrated. That's it. And we're just breathing into it and we're loving it. So holding the feeling of love while holding the trigger. Love for yourself. Love for the trigger. Love for the feeling. This is not a time to figure out why. This is not a time to dig into the root. This is a time to just be with what's here and let it be okay, to accept the trigger, to accept that right now I feel activated, and that's okay. There's nothing to do but be with it. That's it. Keep breathing. And just imagine when that energy, when that air comes in through your body and through the nose, it's going right to that spot. And when we exhale, it's flooding up from that spot and out, right? So like into the spot, up and out. And again, in to the spot, up and out. In to that space, up and out. That's it. Breathing right into it with so much love. And if we can't quite get to love, that's okay. Maybe just some neutrality, maybe just some acceptance. Like, this is okay to be here. It gets to be here. It gets to be here. When we are triggered, we so often tell ourselves this isn't allowed. I have to get rid of it. But you do not. You don't. You get to love it. You get to accept it. And only through acceptance and neutrality can we move through to transformation. We can't change anything until we accept this is here. And then we can move through it, and then it can transform. But if we fight it, if we come from a place of fighting and pushback and resistance, we'll find that it'll push back, it'll resist. And even if you're successful in getting rid of it for the time being, it'll always come back. So we are trying something different. We are letting it be here, as uncomfortable as it may feel in your body, as scary as it may be, as unsafe as it might appear. We are letting the trigger be here. We are welcoming it in. We are breathing into it, giving it energy, the energy of the intention of moving through it. That's it. You get to move through this. You're allowed to move through this. You don't need to spend hours gripped by it. You don't need to identify with it and make it who you are. You get to move through it and release. You get to love it. You don't have to make a story. You don't have to spin in that story. You don't need to let this ruin your day, your minute, your week, your month, your year. You get to move through it. That is a gift you are giving yourself. We don't have to shove it down and let it bubble under the surface. We get to be with it and move through it. That's it. Keep breathing. Beautiful. Keep that breath going. Keep that intention. Keep that awareness. That's it. And letting your brain know that we don't have to do any thinking. We don't have to analyze. We don't have to go deeper into it by thought. We go deeper into it by sensation, by feeling. And all we need to do with our mind is just remember that we get to love it, that it gets to be here, that we get to accept it. That's it. Maybe we can realize that triggers are a gift. They are an opportunity for growth. That it shows us something inside ourselves that we get to move through, that we get to overcome. And that is how we become untriggerable. Not because we don't have feelings, but because we've done the work. Because we've done the work to not be bothered. Because we are so sure of ourselves and who we are that no thing, no person can send us down a spiral anymore. And that is the work, is the growth inside the trigger. And today we're just moving through it, we're being with it, but that is the first step. That is the first step to that place. That's it. We're still breathing into that space. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then just releasing that breath pattern, and we're just going to come back here into just a slow, continual. If any sound wants to come out, maybe a sigh on that exhale, let it come out. Just notice what's here now. Notice if any shifts have occurred in your mind or in your body. We're noticing, we're not judging. We're not, this didn't work, or that wasn't good enough, or I have to try harder, or it's still here. It's all okay. It's all perfect. And just noticing any shifts. What's here now that wasn't here before? What's no longer here that was here before? We're just observing gently. That's it. Good job. I hope that you come back to this if and when you're feeling activated or triggered, or maybe there's something that regularly bugs you that you want to just move through, and so you're going to give yourself the space to be with it, even when it's not flaring up and active. Sometimes the best work we can do is when we feel like we don't need it at all. Some of the best coaching I get to do is with my clients who are already running. They're already quote unquote good. And then we get to go deeper, and means we get to fly higher. But often when we're in a dysregulated state or we're panicking, then we've got to be pulled up from the depths first before we can regulate here and start running and flying. So just keeping that in mind, this gets to be something you can do no matter how you're feeling. And often when we're feeling good, we have space. We have the space. We have the capacity to go there. So I love you so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I hope to see you on the next session. And if you'd like to connect, you can find me on Instagram at the Embodied Baddie. Formerly was Chrystal Rose, and now it's the Embodied Baddie. I love to chat with you. I'd love to hear how this went.
Thank you for listening to Breathwork Bestie. I hope you enjoyed your meditation. If you could take a moment to screenshot this episode and share it on social media and tag me at Chrystal Rose, I would appreciate it so much. If you enjoyed a specific Breathwork Bestie, you can find all of the information about them in their episode details. If you're interested in learning more about breathwork or how to work with me, then go to crystalrose.com or breathworkbestie.com.